standard tuning with the capo at the 6th fret. This record has like a bunch of guitars, so you know what I'm playing is some version of what like a main guitar plays. Okay, so and I played with my thumb actually. You could totally do it with a pick. You know. Might sound better, but I like the sort of softness of the thumb. So that's up to you, and we'll talk a little bit about the strumming and stuff. In fact, let's start with that. Like a general strumming thing for this is like it's that kind of like, you know, down up, down up, down up, down up, that kind of like, you know, it's not a fast song, but the strumming is always going at that kind of faster pace. And there's some, you know, you could get away with playing the whole song like that. You know what I mean? There's some, you know, there's some like sort of accenty things, you know, etc. Okay, I don't like to talk too much about strumming because I feel like you gotta feel it. Okay, the first part is like that sort of riff, right? Starts with an A7 chord, so playing it like this. First finger on the 2nd fret of the D, 2nd finger on the 2nd fret of the B, and strum everything except the low E string. So you can be like, it's kind of like a boom, boom, ding thing at the beginning, but whatever it is, like maybe start by emphasizing a low note and the A string, and then get to the rhythm of it. 1, 2, and then this slide. I wasn't totally sure if maybe it was this. I think it's this. Anyway, first finger, so I play this chord, now I kind of slide up here. My first finger is on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on the A string, in relation to the capo obviously, and then my third finger is on 7 on the B string. It's one of those places with like an accent in the strumming. It's kind of like you accent the ups. It's like 1, 2, right? And it happens in a funny place. And it kind of goes over into the next bar. 2, 3, 4, 1. And then you come down to this. This is a G. You know, you could play a full G like this. This is the type of G that I hear. It's like 2nd finger on the 3rd fret of the low E, 3rd finger on the 3rd fret of the B. The 2nd finger is leaning over and muting the A. So keep my 3rd finger there, pick up my 2nd finger, and put my 1st finger down on the 2nd fret of the A. And then, so I land on this chord, then I'm going to pick up that 1st finger, hammer it back on, so play open A, hammer 1st finger on the 2nd fret of the A, and then play open D. So, right, it's one of those. So that's that whole thing, right? It's like 1. Right? That happens 4 times. The second time, it happens that repeats 4 times. That's how the song starts. It's gonna happen one more time in the song. The second time it happens 3 times, and then gets interrupted by this like crazy. That's one where it's like hard because there's multiple guitars. I'll just show you that to get this section. So the second time when it gets to this, it does this 4 times. I mean, it does this 3 times, and then what would be the 4th time, let's pretend it's here. It's gonna go this. 1st finger on the 2nd fret of the A, 3rd finger on the 4th fret of the G, pinky on the 4th fret of the B. And really, this is how I hear it. Again, there's like multiple guitars, so there's like a lot going on, but this, and then replace the 1st finger on the 2nd fret of the A with the 2nd finger on the 3rd fret of the A. And then you could either just keep these here while the 2nd finger goes to the 3rd fret of the low E and then the 3rd fret of the A, or what I kind of did is I switched to just like a regular G and then a regular C, basically. It's like, as that little, so that's the last time through. The second time it does that instrumental riff thing. Anyway, we're gonna come back to that weird thing. Okay, so now there's like the verse or whatever. Okay, so the first chord, I think he's playing it like this. So with the thumb hooked around to play the first fret on the low E, the third finger on the third fret of the A, the pinky on the third fret of the D. You could also play it like this. So put your first finger on the first fret of the low E. But it is something like this, right? So you have these three. This is like a power chord, right? But then I'm letting the G and a little bit of the B come out. This is for 2 beats. And then there's this. It's weird. It's really funny. I believe that's right, though. So then you play this for 2 beats, and then first finger on the second fret of the G, and then you strum kind of like the A, D, G, B, but it's loose. You hear other strings. Right? Something like that. Then a C chord, which I think he plays like this. You could do a full C. You could do a lot of Cs. I think he's doing this one. First finger on the second fret of the D, second finger on the third fret of the low E, third finger on the third fret of the A. Play this chord, and then you do a little pull off, hammer on, pull off, C, hammer on, pull off of the D string, and then G chord, and then same little thing we did before on the E minor 7, where it's like a hammer onto the second fret of the A, and then open D. So, I went out looking for a real thing. Makes sense? Then a D chord. I don't hear the high E live. I think he even played it with the thumb coming around to play the second fret of the A, but just a regular D chord, but maybe like mute the high E, let the third finger lean over. Now it's like an A minor 7, but you can keep the third finger there and just move the first finger down to the second fret on the D, and then you do that, and then this quick 1, 2, 1, 2. Now move the first finger to the second fret on the A for a quick thing, and then to a C chord, and then hammer on pull off thing again. Just by the door, A minor 7 kind of thing. This like stomp on that second fret on the A, and then go to a C and do the hammer on pull off. Okay, that's gonna repeat 4 times. That happens 4 times, and then it does this little transitional thing of going. So you can go back into your F chord, which again, if you don't like using your thumb, you can use your first finger to play first fret on the low E, second fret on the A, third fret on the A, third fret on the D. And that strum is like boom, chaka-cha, boom, chaka-cha, and then to an E minor 7, first finger on the second fret of the A, third finger on the third fret of the B, boom, chaka-cha, boom, chaka-cha. And then go into a C chord. That's what this thing is. So you play the C chord, hammer on pull off on the D string with the second finger, then move into a G chord, and then pull off that second fret on the A, and then play the third fret on the low E. Something like that. Okay, first time it does that, it then goes right back into the little instrumental riff thing. Second time it's going to go into the outro, which starts by doing this again, twice. Weird dissonant chord, even weirder, more dissonant chord, could be a regular G and then a regular C, or a G and C where you keep playing the dissonant part. And then it goes into like the last part. You're in this E minor 7. Move the first finger down to play the second fret on the low E, and then move into a G chord. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then play open A as the next part of that walk into this chord again. First finger on the second fret of the A, third finger on the fourth fret of the G, pinky on the fourth fret of the B. And then just move that from second fret to fifth fret. So we're going from being on 2s and 4s to being on 5s and 7s. So E minor 7, walk up to G, walk up to this weird B, walk up to B, D, and then E minor 7 again. I put that second finger on the second fret of the high E because you hear that in one of the guitars, but you can also just play E minor 7 for a full bar. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then a D, and then an A7, and then that's it. That happens 4 times. E minor 7, walk up second fret G, walk up A, weird B chord, weird D chord, and then E minor 7. It just repeats 4 times, and then it ends on E minor 7. Okay, let me know if you have any questions. There'll be a full tab at my Patreon, and thank you so much for watching.